Welcome, everyone. Let's jump right in. Today, we are exploring a totally fascinating paradigm shift in how we approach stubborn weight. Honestly, if you've ever felt completely drained by restrictive diets or those punishing boot camp style morning routines, well, you are in the perfect place. In this explainer, we're going to see how gently tweaking our morning habits and actually understanding our own neurobiology can do what years of exhausting hustle simply cannot. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go. Work harder. Push faster. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop. Okay, take a breath. That high-intensity, grueling Tabata countdown, yeah, that is exactly how so many of us start our mornings. We've basically been taught since childhood that to burn fat, especially around the belly, we just need to wake up, shock our systems, exercise way more, and eat way less. But why is it that after months of this exhausting routine, the scale doesn't budge? Why does that stubborn belly fat just refuse to melt away? Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for the explainer today. We'll start with the weight loss myth, then look at the biology of stress, explore a Japanese morning routine, dive into the psychology of change, figure out how to manage cravings, and finally, redefine finding your best weight. There's a clear, logical path connecting your morning routine to your clinical biology, I promise. So, Section 1, the weight loss myth. And this brilliantly illustrates the core problem. If you've been doing grueling workouts without seeing results, listen to me. It is not a failure of willpower. It's really not. The old way, which is built on crash diets, high stress, and judging your entire self-worth by a piece of plastic on the bathroom floor, is fundamentally flawed. The new way, the one actually backed by modern clinical guidelines, focuses on sustainable habits, intrinsic motivation, and judging success by your overall health and quality of life. Which brings us to Section 2, the biology of stress. To understand why this new way is so absolutely crucial, we have to look under the hood. The star player here is a hormone called cortisol. Now, often, cortisol gets a really bad rap as the quote-unquote stress hormone. But actually, scratch that, it's more like a really important friend. It naturally spikes in the first 30 minutes after we wake up, just to alert our bodies and minds to a new day. It's completely healthy. But the problem arises when our hectic, hurried, scrolling through our phones, high-intensity mornings exacerbate this natural spike. When your body repeatedly receives these urgent stress signals, it panics. It literally goes into survival mode. And in survival mode, your body deliberately stores fat right in the center of your stomach to protect your vital organs from the perceived danger. Your body isn't working against you, it's trying to save you. Let's shift gears for Section 3, the Japanese morning routine. We're going to travel to Kyoto, Japan, to look at a 61-year-old woman whose health has remained perfectly stable for years, with absolutely zero crash diets. Her sweet secret begins in the very first hour of her morning. Step 1 is asamizu. Before any coffee or tea, she drinks a glass of lukewarm water. See, after resting all night, our bodies wake up slightly dehydrated. Downing instant caffeine right away, that can totally overstimulate our awakening stress response. Lukewarm water gently hydrates and awakens digestion without the shock. It gives the body its first comforting message that everything is fine. Step 2 is asano sampo. This is getting just 5 to 10 minutes of soft morning sunshine. That natural sunlight hitting your eyes gently resets your internal clock, your circadian rhythm, which keeps your metabolism, your hunger hormones, and that natural cortisol curve comfortably balanced all day long. Now, if you love your morning coffee, don't panic. I'm with you. The third habit introduces a really deep and beautiful Japanese concept called ma. Ma translates to a necessary space or a pause that creates balance in life. When we apply this to our mornings, it means taking a pause before that first cup of coffee. When we wake up, there's a sleep chemical in our brain that the body naturally clears out over the first 90 minutes. If we rush to drink caffeine right away, we just temporarily suppress that sleep chemical, but the body never finishes clearing it out. And that's exactly why you get that sudden, exhausting energy crash by midday. Embracing ma means just letting your body wake up in its natural rhythm first. So when you do enjoy that coffee, it provides genuine, lasting energy. The final steps of this calm routine are sanpo and seijaku. Sanpo is a leisurely 20 to 30 minute walk. No running, no heavy fitness trackers, no pressure. Because cortisol is already naturally high in the morning, a heavy workout can actually send a prolonged stress signal. A calm walk, just taking in the trees and the neighborhood, actually soothes the part of the brain that's looking out for danger. And finally, seijaku. This is absolute peace and silence. No phone notifications, no urgent work emails, no social media for those first few minutes.
Think about it. When you open your eyes and immediately read a stressful email, your brain instantly goes into reaction mode. Seijaku sends a comforting signal to your nervous system that you are safe. It sets a rock-solid foundation of calm for the entire day. Moving on to Section 4, the psychology of change.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that this isn't just beautiful cultural philosophy. It is rooted in hard clinical science. This chart from the Canadian Adult Obesity Clinical Practice Guidelines shows Level 1A, Grade A evidence. That is literally the highest level of scientific proof we have, and it supports multi-component behavioral interventions. What that means in plain English is that simply telling someone to eat less does not work. True success requires behavioral therapies that focus on intrinsic motivation, problem solving, and building a person's confidence, rather than just strict, miserable calorie restriction. In fact, healthcare providers are entirely shifting their approach today. The guidelines emphasize removing shame. We absolutely have to avoid internalized weight bias. You know those negative, self-directed stereotypes we hold about our own weight? Clinical studies actually prove that internalized weight bias harms healthy eating behaviors and causes serious psychological distress. So providers are moving away from acting as the expert who tells you what to do and becoming a collaborator who helps you build self-efficacy, which is the confidence to actually overcome barriers. They want you to focus on values-oriented behaviors. That means choosing actions that align with what makes your life worthwhile, rather than acting out of guilt or shame. All right, Section 5, managing cravings and hunger. We need to acknowledge the powerful neurobiological underpinnings of our drive to eat. While we work on cultivating that morning calm, we also need tactical nutritional tools to manage that biological wanting system. A super quick, evidence-based win here is prioritizing high-protein satiety. Loading up on proteins like eggs, tofu, Greek yogurt, fish, and lean meat naturally helps you feel full. This gently manages your appetite and reduces those intense cravings without stressing your system out. It's all about giving your body the physical signals of safety and abundance, rather than restriction and panic. So, the crucial point is that diet alone just isn't enough. We need psychological tools too. This brings us to the calorie taxonomy, which is basically a master list of effective behavior change techniques pulled from clinical research. It heavily highlights relapse prevention and stress management. Clinical tools like acceptance-based therapies help us build the executive self-regulation needed to handle food cravings. Instead of fighting a craving with sheer exhausting willpower, we learn to accept the biological wanting as totally normal. Then we use our stress management tools, like that peaceful morning walk we talked about, to gently regulate our nervous system and make choices that actually align with our values. And that brings us to our final stop, Section 6, finding your best weight. As we fundamentally redefine what success looks like on this journey, I want to read this quote directly from the clinical guidelines because it is just so powerful. Success is related to improved health, function, and quality of life resulting from achievable behavioral goals and not on the amount of weight loss. Let that sink in for a second. Weight is merely an outcome. It is not a behavior. Your success is defined by how you feel, how your body functions, and the achievable, peaceful habits you build into your daily life. And this leads us to a truly beautiful reframe, the concept of your best weight. Your best weight is simply the weight you can achieve and maintain while living your healthiest and happiest life. It's not a punishing number on a scale that requires you to sacrifice your peace, your joy, or your mental health. No way! Your best weight comes naturally from adopting sustainable, values-based habits, just like sending those signals of safety to your body through a peaceful, hydrated, sunlit Japanese morning. We've covered a lot today. The neurobiology of stress, the wisdom of a quiet morning, and the clinical proof that compassion and calm are vastly superior to shame and hustle. So I want to leave you with this provocative question to ponder tonight. Which sustainable, gentle habit will you choose to reach your best weight tomorrow morning? Will it be a glass of lukewarm water, a 10-minute walk in the sun, or maybe simply granting yourself a few minutes of absolute silence before checking your phone? The choice is entirely yours, and your body is ready to thank you for it. Until next time, take great care of yourself and your peace.